morning. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys on 910 WPFB. Getting the headphones all set up here. My name is Shawn. It's a terrific Wednesday evening to you. A lot of things happening in this hour. We will be talking with Dave Kinzer, former ring announcer for WCW. Now he is a ring announcer for the XWF. We'll talk with him. Also, we may be talking to the legendary manager, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. He may be joining us tonight as well. Our toll-free number, if you want to hop on board, 866-910-WPFB. 866-910-WPFB. I'll tell you what, we'll get to the news. Let's just go to the phone lines first. You're on the Wrestling Guys. Who's this?
It's Bud Rowe.
Hey, Bud Rowe. What's up, man?
Not much, just chilling. Real quick, I know a couple of buddies of mine from school wanted me to do this. So, if by your permission, may I plug the newest ICP joint?
No. All right, that's enough from Bud Rowe. Thank you very much. Actually, not really. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the news. Let's get you updated first on the World Wrestling Federation. The World Wrestling Federation announcing today they are going to be touring internationally in 2002. Of course, this doesn't really come as a major surprise since Linda McMahon said earlier this year that the World Wrestling Federation was going to be concentrating some of its efforts internationally a little more. They're looking to open up an office in London. And plus, one of the keys, anytime that a company starts to, especially wrestling related, anytime a company is not having the same amount of success that they've had in the past, and certainly we know by television ratings, we know by the fact they've been laying off people, that the World Wrestling Federation right now is not as successful as it has been in the past, you begin to look internationally, you begin to look overseas, because let's face it, you go to England, you go to Australia, WCW proved it. When WCW was struggling here in the United States, they go to Australia, and even though their product was something that maybe we here in the U.S. thought was substandard, in Australia, they only get to see it maybe once a year, so they were packing 20, 30,000 people into arenas. That's what the World Wrestling Federation is hoping to do by going overseas. They are planning to start in March, and they're going to start off in Asia. They've got 4 shows slated over there. They're going to be in Germany the first week of May. They're planning to be in Australia in the summer. They're going to be in the United Kingdom in May, and then they're going to be back in Europe in the fall. So a lot of the 2002 WWF tour dates are going to be international. And it'll be interesting to see what they do, because we keep hearing the rumors that in January they're going to split off into 2 separate leagues. Will one league go and another league stay here? We'll keep you updated. Later on tonight, actually you can check it out right now, but if you do not have a high-speed internet connection and you want to check out the Rock's trailer for the upcoming movie Scorpion King, Entertainment Tonight is going to show that tonight. That is on 7:30. I believe that's channels 12 and 7 here in the Miami Valley. As far as if you want to see it online, go to WWF.com, and they have it there. You can watch it on the website. Triple H is going to make his return to the Squared Circle January the 7th, and that's the night he's going to make his return on television at Madison Square Garden on Monday Night Raw. But the word is that Triple H will be appearing on some house shows as an unannounced surprise. Is it still an unannounced surprise if I'm announcing it? Anyway, Triple H is going to be an unannounced surprise at some house shows the weekend prior to January 7th. So if you know somebody or you're planning to go into a house show on one of those dates, you may get to see the game before anybody else. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Triple H is being credited for giving Mad TV tying Mad TV for its highest ratings of the season. The episode that he appeared on this past weekend did a 3.8 rating, which is a 19% increase on its average Saturday night rating. Speaking of ratings, Raw this past Monday did a 4.0, their second lowest rating of the year. And given the fact that the next 2 Mondays are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, don't expect the ratings on those nights to be much better. Shawn Michaels on Excess this past Saturday garnered a 0.8 rating, just a 1/10 of a point more than what that program normally gets. By the way, Monday Night Raw this coming Monday will not be live. They're taping it on Friday so that the World Wrestling Federation staff can be home with their families on Christmas Eve. That's very cool. Other organizations and things to look into. Hulk Hogan will be appearing on ESPN's Unscripted. That will be tomorrow at 5 o'clock. If you want to email questions, you can do so. Go to ESPN.com, follow your directions there, and you might be able to get your question answered by Hulk Hogan. A couple of notes from around the area. Funeral services were held today in Houston, Texas for Heartland Wrestling Association wrestler Russ Haas. In case you have not heard this story, Russ, who is 27 years old and also a World Wrestling Federation developmental contract talent, died in his sleep early Saturday morning. Now, Russ had not wrestled since late September due to heart problems. He had been seeing a doctor. The doctor told him last week, we clear you to go back to the ring. But the World Wrestling Federation said, you know what, since it's your Hart, we don't want to play around with this thing. We want you to get a second opinion before we release you to get back into the ring. The second opinion would have been scheduled, or was scheduled, to take place yesterday. Russ leaves behind a wife and his brother Charlie, who he formed the Haas Brothers tag team with. A tremendous talent in Russ Haas, a great guy as well. And I know that the HWA is having a tough time right now, given the fact that not only did they lose 8 other people in their locker room after they were cut from the World Wrestling Federation, but this is obviously the most tragic loss of them all. And of course, we want to say our condolences to his friends and family and fans. By the way, Charlie Haas is going to be back in the HWA. Tonight is the final HWA show. They are taping their television for the next couple of weeks tonight down in Louisville. But Charlie Haas said that he will be back in the HWA when they resume running shows again in January. Also, Jamie Noble appears to be okay. Last night, the Les Thatcher Main Event Pro Wrestling Camp, the HWA Cruiserweight title holder, Jamie Noble, was wrestling Chad Collier. Apparently, after a powerbomb cloverleaf combination, Noble tapped out and then just laid in the ring. He moved his hands, but it was a scary moment. It was the final match of the night, but all the fans were taken out of the building after that. But apparently, Jamie is feeling much better today and not expected to miss any ring time, or not a lot of ring time, if any at all. If you get the Dayton Daily News, or even if you don't, you might want to check out tomorrow's edition. A couple of articles about area wrestling. First of all, there's an article profiling the Heartland Wrestling Association, and also there's an article profiling the Outlaw Championship Wrestling Dr. Creep benefit show that happened about a week and a half ago. And for some reason, they talked to me in those articles. I don't know why, but it sounds like they're going to be very cool articles. And anytime the mainstream media wants to look at professional wrestling in the area and give it some positive attention, rather than the simple hatchet backyard wrestling stories that they typically do, it's always a good thing. So check it out. If you like the articles, make sure you tell the Dayton Daily News you appreciate that. Buff Bagwell is the new NWA Mid-Atlantic champion. You know, that's a title that had so much history, so much prestige. I mean, the list of guys that held that title, Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and Terry Funk and Mr. Wrestling 2, and now Buff Bagwell. That was a great title. Dusty Rhodes is going to open up a new building for his Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling promotion. The headquarters will still be in the Atlanta area, although now they will be adorned by a 700-seat arena. Also, the American Dream says that they are planning on making tours of Florida and Texas and possibly even Arkansas during 2002. And if anything comes into the Ohio area, which is a possibility, we will let you know, of course, right here on the Wrestling Guide. By the way, if you want to get the latest wrestling news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, call the Wrestling Guide hotline at 937-285-0991. Also, the Wrestling Guys year-end awards are right around the corner, just a couple of weeks away. If you want to get your nominations in, here's what you've got to do. We take nominations for the Wrestler of the Year, the Tag Team of the Year, the Match of the Year, and the Local Area Wrestler of the Year. Send those in to the Wrestling Guys. You can email the Wrestling Guys at AOL.com or mail them right here, WPFB 4505 Central Avenue, Middletown, Ohio. Also, we highly encourage you to come up with your own award. If you want to vote for the Worst Wrestler of the Year, if you want to vote for the Best Manager of the Year, if you want to vote for the Worst Hairdo of the Year, otherwise known as the Dave Diamond Award, that is encouraged as well. Again, email the Wrestling Guys at AOL.com or mail them to the Wrestling Guys, 4505 Central Avenue, Middletown, Ohio, 45044. And again, make sure you put those in attention to the Wrestling Guys. And we do give away a number of prizes on the final show of the year to people that do participate. So get them in. We'll do some drawings and give away some DVDs, some videos, some video games, courtesy of our friends at THQ, Acclaim, and WWF Home Video. Always a fun show, the final one of the year, and hopefully you will be a part of that. We're going to take a break. If you want to hop on board tonight, we got some time for some open phones. The toll-free
Guys on AM 910 WPFB.
Back on the Wrestling Guys, my name is Shawn Stidham. Our toll-free number again is 866-910-WPFB. Let's go to the phones again. Talk to Andy. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Good, Andrew. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. Just had a couple things to ask you about.
Go for it.
First off, with the whole mail-in your Caller of the Year thing, which, I'll win the Caller of the Year.
Now, we're actually, Caller of the Year this year is more of a write-in thing. We're not officially endorsing a Caller of the Year award.
Well, yeah.
But it's highly encouraged.
It'll be me, so it doesn't matter.
There you go.
But on the hotline, you had given one area code, and then you gave a different one on the show, so...
I did what?
On the hotline, you gave the area code of like 45442 or something.
That's called a zip code.
Or zip code, excuse me.
Yes, that's called a zip code.
Zip code. Well, you know what I mean. So which one is the...
45042, I'm sorry.
45042.
Yes.
I just have to make sure all the nominations for me get to the right place.
Now, you know you're only allowed to vote once. You can't send in like 50 nominations for yourself.
Well, I'll just nominate... Well, I might nominate myself.
But being a man of your magnitude and your popularity, I'm sure it would not be hard for you to get so many votes that you would just overwhelmingly win a Caller of the Year award.
It's a nationwide campaign, you know.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The Love Man's in charge of mine, but...
Oh, you're done. Forget it. We also have a Love Foundation turned out.
Yeah, which is nothing less.
There you go.
But with the whole Russ Haas thing this week,
yeah,
you know, he was a pretty young guy in his early to late 20s, as far as I know. It kind of seemed almost like comparable to the way Brian Pillman died.
Yes and no. I mean, with Pillman, there was certainly some medication involved and some alcohol, and of course, unfortunately, we've seen a number of wrestling deaths over the last few years where those two things are combined. It was a very bizarre situation because here's a guy who, if you ever saw Russ Haas, certainly you wouldn't think that anything's wrong with the guy health-wise. And then I guess it was September 23rd, September 24th. I don't have the date right here in front of me. But after an HWA television taping on a Sunday, went back home and had a seizure and had a heart attack. And, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it. The doctors went in there and he had a heart condition. So they, obviously told him you can't work out, you can't wrestle. And he had still been attending HWA shows. He would still go to the training sessions. Now, he was not allowed to get in the ring and do anything at all physically, but he would go and kind of just soak in what was being taught in the ring. A lot of what they teach down there isn't just how to do moves, but why you're doing moves. And so he was able to learn some of that also. And then, he was at the show on Friday in Springfield, was fine, was backstage. He had just been told by his doctor that week that he was cleared to get back into the ring, but like I said in the report earlier, the World Wrestling Federation wanted him to wait. And then all of a sudden, he dies in his sleep. I mean, it's a very, very bizarre situation. But, from everything we've heard so far from the doctors, it was natural causes. It was related to his heart. You got to wonder if something's going to happen as far as the doctor that had said you can get back in the ring. Somewhere a diagnosis was missed somewhere, but it's just a really tough situation, especially, 27 years old in the holiday season. And I know Charlie Haas right now, this has been, not only is this his tag team partner, this is the man's brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to look at it that way. And like you said, the holidays, and then, they were pretty tight, brothers from what I've seen.
They're very tight, and plus, most of the guys from the Memphis area that came up to the HWA from Memphis, Lance Cade and the Island Boys and Steve Brownlee and whatnot, they're taking it very hard because this is a guy they've been with for the last few years. They've tagged with him, they've wrestled with him, and it's not just what you do in the ring, in the locker room, but you spend more time with these guys than you do your own family. And so it's a very, weird situation, and especially to think, here's a guy who looks like he's in the epitome of fine health. He's 27 years old, and he dies of a heart attack?
Yeah, and you got to look at the people who Friday night saw this guy and probably thought that they'd see him, next week, and then who knew he was on the last hours of the night.
I mean, how many times, you sit there, you're watching, wrestling or football, and you got your pizzas and your wings and your Coke, and you're sitting there, and here's a guy who's in great shape, and he's 27 years old. He's almost 3 years younger than I am, and he's dying of a heart attack, and, in much better physical condition than I am. It's weird, and a lot of times it's not fair.
Yeah.
Well, what else you got? Anything else?
That's about it.
All right, well, behave yourself.
Happy holiday and everything.
Happy holiday to you, man. You take care.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right, thank you very much. Andy the Hate Man joining us. And if you want to hop on board also, 866-910-WPFB is our phone number. SmackDown taking place tomorrow night. Now, if you want to find out what happens beforehand, we're not going to tell you exactly what happens here. We'll give you a preview. We call it a tease in the broadcasting business. But if you want to find out exactly the results, the exact results, we'll have those on the Wrestling Guys hotline for you tomorrow at 937-285-0991. Tomorrow night SmackDown will feature a first blood match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Booker T. Undisputed champion Y2J Chris Jericho will battle the Big Show. Test takes on Rock. Rikishi takes on Lance Storm. Also, The Undertaker battles Matt Hardy, and Kurt Angle will battle Edge, plus Ric Flair, and a whole bunch more tomorrow night on SmackDown. You know, the last few weeks, we've brought up some stories from the World Wrestling Federation where they've had faux pas on their websites and in some of their magazines and whatnot, and it just seems like that whenever they did their cutting a few weeks back, I think they cut everybody that was in the proofreading department because they have some absolute embarrassing, and I mean embarrassing, faux pas that they have committed over the last few weeks. And here is the latest one. This one is beautiful. If you get the 2002 WWF calendar, take a look at what they have on January the 18th. Here's the quote. The Super Bowl may be on the horizon, but that's just the beginning for Gridiron fans. Get ready for the return of the XFL, which starts its second season next month. Old-fashioned smash-mouth football is back with all the advantages of modern media technology. Last year's debut took the sports world by storm, and this year the XFL, trademark, looks to rise to new heights. Be part of it every weekend on NBC, UPN, and TNN. Memo to the World Wrestling Federation. You canceled the XFL back in April. Since April, you have had no XFL. You announced the XFL would not be back. It would not be on television. It would not be back. But yet, in the WWF calendar, which you've had since April to proofread and to correct, you have the XFL is going to come back on January the 18th. I just wonder if there's some guy that actually has the calendar, isn't going to pay attention, and goes, hey, XFL's back on tonight, Super Bowl party or XFL party, whatever the heck they want to call it. But anyway, just amazing some of the faux pas they have. A couple of other notes to get you up to date on. The ECW, remember back when the whole invasion took place and everybody that was a creditor of ECW said, hey, that's not fair, we want our share of the money, the WWF's making money when, you know, we should be getting the money first. Well, there's going to be a conference on January the 15th. They call it a status conference, and Acclaim will be a part of that and find out exactly what their rights are to the ECW name. Our toll-free number, 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-WPFB. A couple of local shows that will be coming up I want to let you know about. First of all, coming up on January the 5th, Outlaw Championship Wrestling will have a show once again in Yellow Springs at the John Bryan Community Center. Call 229-8189 for information on that. January the 9th, the Heartland Wrestling Association will be back at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds Coliseum. If you're interested in going to that event, find out more information at hwaonline.com. And I have not heard anything about Violent Championship Wrestling if those guys are going to be running a show, but you can go to BCW or ViolentChampionshipWrestling.com for details on them. And also, apparently, IWA Mid-South will be coming into Dayton. I believe it's January the 4th, but I don't have anything definite on that. But again, once we find out, we will let you know here on the Wrestling Guys radio show. And also, again, the Wrestling Guys hotline at 937-285-0991. Or if you have questions, you can email them to the Wrestling Guys at AOL.com. Programming note from AM 910 WPFB. Middletown Middies High School basketball will be happening this weekend. On Friday, the Middletown Middies will be playing in Westchester, battling Lakota West. And on Saturday, they are going to travel up north to battle the Lima Spartans. Quick question, who is from Lima? Al Snow, thank you very much. No, don't call on that. That was not for a prize. It was just a little hypothetical thing. Anyway, Al Snow's hometown Lima, they'll be battling the Middies on this Saturday. And you can catch all the action right here on AM 910 WPFB with Greg Anderson and the old coach Jack Gordon and Fred Finney. I can't forget Fred Finney. If I forget Fred Finney, he gets pounds. But anyway, you can catch all of them right here on AM 910 WPFB. Tip off approximately 7:30. Again, we want to and is in phenomenal shape. So Terry Taylor hopefully will land in one of these promotions. Obviously, at his age, he's not going to be wrestling, but maybe as a behind-the-scenes working in those in that regard. We're going to take a break for the news. When we come back, Dave Tenzer from the XWF will join us. This is the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB.
Do you know where your news is?
Guys on the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
Back here on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. My name is Shawn Stidham, and joining us tonight, He's been on the show many, many times before. Former ring announcer for WCW, but that's the old days. We will now talk about what he's doing now with the XWF. Dave Pinzer joining us on the Wrestling Guys. Dave, how you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Everything okay down in Tampa?
Yeah, everything's great. Last time I talked to you, I think I was in a limousine that John Collins never paid for.
What did Collins pay for?
Nothing.
Did your check bounce too?
Actually, I had to check the bounce, but he paid me back for it.
Okay, well, at least he did that.
I actually got paid for everything, which is more than a lot of guys.
Now, I did hear a lot of guys say that, you know, after the checks bounced and everything else, that he did make good on a lot of those.
Yeah, he did. You know what happened? I would have probably gotten the rest of my money. I was owed money for a show that was canceled, and another one that I came, he was supposed to pay me for that, and that was when he faked his heart attack, so I didn't go on. Everybody thought I was stupid for not going on because, you know, hey, this is the only game in town, go on. The worst that could happen is he doesn't pay you, and nobody knew because I couldn't say anything that I had this, you know, deal where I was going to XWF the next week, and I was just in there for a payday, you know, and which is fine. I was doing my job, ring announcing, you know.
No problem.
So,
no problem.
So that's why I didn't go on, and then the next week everybody got paid, and then all hell broke loose, if I could say that.
Yeah, no, you can say that. Now, and I guess what happened, we won't dwell on this, but I guess he gave everything to Todd Gordon, and then Collins said he's going to start another promotion or something along those lines. Is the guy out of his mind? What?
I don't know if he's out of his mind. He's basically a con man. You know, I wouldn't trust anything that came out of his mouth, and I warned people about the new promotion, and those people were able to get their checks, their money before the shows, and everybody got paid on those shows, I guess. But he got this little stooge guy, what's his name, Jeff Lane, brainwashed. So I think he's staying in his, sleeps in a little dog bed next to his bed.
Is that a quote now? He sleeps in a dog bed next to his bed.
I don't know that for a fact, but that's just the rumors I've heard.
I've heard that about a couple other guys, but I don't think we can bring that up here. We're talking to Dave Pinzer here on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Of course, you're now associated with the XWF. A lot of people talking about this. A lot of people keeping their fingers crossed that this will be the next promotion to make it nationally. Do you get a lot of feedback from people who are saying, please give us something, give us this?
We go, I'll tell you what, we go through airports, we go everywhere we go to lunch. People say, people just want an alternative. There's definitely a market out there for the product that the WWF is presenting. We're presenting a different product. And, some people everybody wants alternative in life. Some people like chocolate ice cream, some people like vanilla ice cream. If there's only chocolate ice cream was the only flavor out there, then probably sales of ice cream would go down. So,
Dave, are you a chocolate ice cream guy? Are you more of a vanilla? Or?
I don't need ice cream. I'm trying to watch my weight in my old age.
Okay, go ahead.
But I like chocolate. Baskin-Robbins chocolate mousse royale.
There you go.
Anyway, so basically that's all. We're just trying to be an alternative, and yeah, people really are anxious about this. It's something new. It's something totally different from what people are used to seeing, which is a 2 or 3 hour pay-per-view basically every week in front of 18,000 people. We want to get it back more. One of our logos and sayings and trademarks is in your face, and that's not just a trademark. It's what we believe. We want to get the interaction with the wrestlers and the fans back, and tell the stories from the ring, tell the stories, the interviews in the ring, and not have a lot of stuff happen in the back. Of course you got to introduce people and have some vignettes in the back, but our little shows that we tape, we try to keep them, to a real minimum and keep them real short, and do most of the stuff outside in your face in front of everybody. And that's just our little our take on what we think wrestling should be right now, and sort of going back to I don't want to say old style because it's not grab a hold for 20 minutes like it was in 1970, but it's sort of going back to traditional wrestling. But we've definitely, with the graphics and everything we have, and the set and all that, we've put a 21st century twist on it. So I'm real excited about it. A lot of people are excited about it, and it looks real good.
I'm sitting here looking at the website, which is xwfwrestling.com, and I see this face that has the X over that. Who was the model for that? Was that you?
Oh, the face with the X?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that was you or maybe that was Brian Knob.
Oh, Colin Bowman.
Would you say Colin Bowman?
No, Colin Bowman.
Oh, I'm sorry. It
sort of looks like Colin Bowman.
There you go.
But, yeah, the website is xwfwrestling.com, and it's a work in progress right now. So, but if people want to see what we're all about and see some of our talent, see maybe if our infomercials are airing in their market, or if we're coming to their area, they could go to the website and keep checking back, because we're going to be adding a lot more in the future as this thing takes off.
I know a lot of the people listening to the show are in the Cincinnati and Dayton area, and you're coming relatively close. You've got Hammond, Indiana, you've got Toledo coming up, you've got Green Bay, so, maybe a 5 or 6 hour drive is certainly feasible, and the roster you've got so far, not too shabby. Roddy Piper, the Road Warriors, you've got Kurt Hennig, the Nasty Boys.
Yeah,
not bad.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to, give something for everybody. We're trying to, what we want is we want families to be able to go back to wrestling. Some families don't feel comfortable with other products that are out there, and that's a choice that they make, and I respect everybody's right to have a free choice. What we want to do is have a product that grandpa, mom and dad, and teenagers and kids could sit down and watch together. Basically, when I was a kid, my dad used to take me to wrestling, and my wife's grandfather used to take him and yell and scream at the bad guys with the cane and all that, and she was 6 years old or 7 years old and thought it was cool, and didn't really become a wrestling fan, but it was something that the family could do, and they used to go every week up in Canada, Grand Prix wrestling up there, but so we have a little bit for everybody, for people that remember the Hacksaw Jim Duggins and the Road Warriors and the Nasty Boys and the Kurt Hennigs. That's, we got something for them. If you want a little bit more recent, you got Norman Smiley, you got Buff Bagwell, Vampiro, The Wall, who looks tremendous, by the way. If nobody's seen him, he's look, you wouldn't recognize him if you walked past him. We got some new stars, the British Stormy and Harrison, plus Kid Cash is going to be there, who's high flying. Josh Matthews from Tough Enough, who is tremendous. And
I wanted to bring up Josh because it's the tapings you had done at Universal Studios of, I guess, almost been a month now.
Right.
Josh, from what I understand, really probably came away wowing the audience more than anybody else as far as somebody they didn't expect to perform at the level that he did.
Right. Well,
is that true? Your opinion?
You're absolutely right. And, we knew what we were getting from a perspective of somebody who had been on television for 15, 16 weeks, but we didn't know what we were getting ring-wise. There's only so much you could see, and everybody was very impressed. I mean, even the biggest doubters that said you can't learn in that amount of time. What they did up there was amazing. He has a natural ability for this business, and our deal is this. Look, big, tall, small, old, young, everybody gets a chance in the XWF. It doesn't matter about, that's what No More Prima Donnas means. Doesn't matter what happened in your past. Doesn't matter if the people in charge didn't used to like somebody. It's the people that can make money, and you know what? A lot of people might have thought, these guys are crazy. Josh is never going to get over, or he's too small, or whatever. But the guy went out there, and the people love him, and they reacted to him, and so because they reacted to him, he will get a great opportunity here, and it's the same thing with anybody. Somebody like Big Vito went out there, and he was another guy who really surprised me. He looks great. He's trimmed down, and in the WCW, there's a certain point you could go to, but the fans really took a liking to him, and his work in the ring was great. And it's another guy that's going to get an opportunity. So hey, we don't, we're not giving promises. We're giving opportunities. And in this business, you used to go in and you used to have an opportunity to make the most of what you could do, and that's what we're doing. And also, I want to mention, not to get off the subject, but I'm looking here at the paper, the XGI girls are going to be at all these shows. And for those of you who don't know the XGI girls, they are, it's not really, it's not a dancing troupe or anything like that. And it's not really sort of on our show. Once it starts airing, you'll be able to see exactly what their role is. But they are Chris, who's formerly Leia Meow and Kimona, Chiquita, formerly from the Nitro Girls, and Stephanie, who's formerly Gorgeous George.
Really? Nice.
So, 3 beautiful women, and they'll be there signing autographs. They're going to do a little interview and explain to people what they're in the XWF for, and so XGI is X Girls Inc. So.
Now, did you interview the girls personally to make sure they would, be a good fit for the XWF?
No. Jimmy Hart's in charge of it. He's like a father. He's like a fatherly figure, but no, he is.
No,
he's a great guy.
Yes, he is.
I mentioned that if it wasn't for Jimmy Hart, I wouldn't be here right now in the XWF, and he believes in me and what I have to offer, and God bless him. A guy like Jimmy Hart, I don't think you find one person to say a bad word about him.
We're talking to Dave Pinzer here on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Dave, let me ask you, you talked about getting the television product out there. Currently you're running infomercials, but a lot of people are wondering, are you going to be able to get a television deal? If you can, how far down the line do you think that is? I know negotiations are a touchy subject, but can you give us an update on where the TV situation is?
Well, first of all, I want to just touch on the infomercial. Basically, some of the people that are investors in this company are people that are in the infomercial business, and they thought that if you put an infomercial out there, even if you have TV as something additional, that and you were able to say, if you buy a ticket and you call this 800 number right now for your local show, you'll get a free collector's tape, which is what they're giving away, and also a free chance to buy. I think we're going to pick 25 names at each of these shows if you buy your tickets to the infomercial and get a backstage party. So and so it's a test market for us. Infomercials are an interesting, multi-million-dollar a year industry, an interesting industry, and this has never been done before with wrestling. So it's a test for us. It's not our show. It's what we call the countdown to the XWF. It's Gene, so Mean Gene in the ring, and sort of like you used to do with the old before the WCW pay-per-views, before they started doing them live, and just pitching to different footage and stuff. And
kind of like the XWF Control Center or something like that.
Sure. And then you have, it's basically, it's sort of like when they used to do the control centers, but it's like a half-hour one. You also get some behind-the-scenes look, and they interview some fans from our inaugural tapings and get you excited about the product. And it's just a test market, because some people that, were saying we're making the comments, and I've read comments, why run house shows so quick? Well, our people want to do this as a test market. If we make $100,000 on each show, they'll be thrilled to death. If we lose money on some of these shows, then nobody's gonna pull the plug or anything like that. It's just basically you got to test things to find out if they work. And so far, the infomercials just started running, and they will run in all 6 cities next weekend or this weekend. And so far, it's worked real well. And I got to tell you, tickets are going real good. We're real pleased with how it's going. As a matter of fact, talking about Toledo, tickets in Toledo today went tremendous, and we're doing real good in Toledo and Battle Creek and everywhere we're going, Hammond. So everything's real good. Going back to the TV situation, I just want to explain the infomercial thing. Going back to the TV situation, basically, I'm not in that loop really. I know that there's been meetings, and I know that after Christmas and New Year's there'll be more meetings. And other than that, I can't say. I think if there's not if there's not a place in wrestling on television for this product, which is a 1-hour, fast-paced, post-produced product that leaves you wanting more, then I will be very surprised if we can't get this on TV, then I'll be very surprised. But that's just my personal opinion, not a statement of where anything stands. But I think it looks real good, and everybody's real optimistic.
Dave Pinzer from the XWF joining us on the Wrestling Guys.
Doing my best to try to kayfabe.
There you are. I appreciate that. Well, you're going to kayfabe here again, because I got to ask you this. I'm only doing my job.
Okay.
Last week, first let's back up here. At the Universal Studio tapings, a lot of attention was put onto the fact that Hulk Hogan attended the tapings, wrestled on the tapings. There's a question mark as to what his future involvement is with the company. Also last week on the Internet, I think your good friend of mine, Dave Scheer, reported that there was a possibility Sting at some point could be joining the XWF, maybe on a limited schedule. Any confirmation, anything on either of those two guys appearing anytime in the future for the XWF?
Well, Hulk Hogan's a friend of ours. Hulk Hogan has some things he has to deal with. As most people know, his dad has been real sick, and,
sure.
and he's been spending a lot of time with his family and his father. And he wants to see this work. I think he believes in this product. Right now, he doesn't have the time to dedicate to it. It's possible in the future that he will come on board full time. It's possible that he may just decide, to go out and make another movie. But that's not a dead issue, and things look real good. And he always calls us, and we went out and did he does the thing every year at Ruth Eckerd Hall with the Yankees, where he reads the night before Christmas to 6th grade children that gets bussed in, and we went out, and Nasty Boys and me and Jimmy Hart, and helped give out bags and stuff. And he was real positive and told everybody about the XWF, all the kids, when he went out there. So as far as Hulk Hogan, he's a friend of ours. He believes in this product. He likes what he sees, and he's just putting some things in order family-wise now, and then I think they'll get back and see if they can put a deal together.
And most people don't know this. I don't mean to cut you off, Dave, but most people don't realize that he wrestled at Universal for free, correct?
Absolutely. he actually came and said, God, you know, he came the first day to do a promo for us for our red carpet, and he said, God, I was thinking about it on the way here. I wish I'd have brought my boots. It'd be nice to get in that ring again. So we said, well, if you want to come back tomorrow, bring your boots, we'll be happy. He came in and said, let's do it.
It's not like you're going to tell Hogan no. I mean, Hogan says, I think I want to wrestle. Okay.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
And it's funny because it was a surprise. Not even Tony Schiavone knew until the music played that Hulk was coming out. It was an added match. And just a funny story, my son always wanted to meet Hulk Hogan. He was there, and I took him back in the trailer when he was getting dressed. And I said, okay, now, Jarrett. His name is Jarrett. I said, all right, Jarrett, now, you can't tell anybody that Hulk's wrestling when you go back up with your friends, you know, because we had a bunch of friends there. I said, because it's a surprise. So he was dying to tell, but he didn't tell. When that music played, he was telling all the people, all the fans in the set, I knew about this, but I didn't tell anybody. He was so proud of himself that he kept the secret. But
well, he's never going to be an internet reporter then, is he? He's done in that career.
No, well, you know, if he was an internet reporter, he would have said, I heard from sources that Hulk Hogan was wrestling tonight.
No, he would have said, I heard from sources Hogan is not wrestling tonight, so there you go.
But Hulk's a great guy. I've gotten to know him up here very well. I can't say enough good about him. You know, whatever kind of stuff that he gets negative is certainly not deserved. He's a tremendous person. You know, he does a lot of stuff like that. You know, for charity and stuff, and people don't. You know, he doesn't need a television camera there. He's just a great guy, and I wish him all the best. And hope if he ever reads about this, I hope his dad is doing well and he has a Merry Christmas.
And as far as Sting goes, again, the rumors last week with Sting. And again, I think you're going to get this anytime, especially next month when a lot of the AOL Time Warner contracts are up with Kevin Nash. I know you've got Rick Steiner on board, and you know Scott Steiner's out there. But what about Sting? Because his name was linked with the XWF last week.
Well, Sting, Brian Knobs works here real close, and Jimmy, and has always been friends with Sting. So if Sting wants to get back in, we'd love to have him. So it's just we can't talk to. We obviously can't talk to him about anything until his contract is up. But it's definitely somebody that we'd love to have, and if you know, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to talk to him about it.
There you go. Dave Penzer joining us on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Again, you can find out more about the XWF at xwfwrestling.com. Let's talk a little bit about the holidays, Dave. What's on your Christmas list? I know yesterday we talked. You were doing some holiday shopping. What do you hope is under the tree for you?
Under the tree for me? How about a TV deal?
There you go. Not bad. Not bad. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this again in a couple weeks. We'll set up with Jimmy something or along those lines.
Sure.
And we'll talk.
We're done already?
Huh?
We're done already?
We're done already. We got a commercial break. We got bills to pay, and then I gotta finish my Christmas shopping.
All right, buddy. Hey, listen.
I'm gonna be in trouble if I don't. You know that.
I just want to say I want to say one thing. I know you were talking about Russ Haas earlier.
Yeah.
And I only met him once at the Tillman show, but he was a hell of a guy, and you know, in a business where you know. A lot of people bring things on themselves. You know, from everything I heard, he was, you know, straight-laced and clean-cut and very good guy. And I want to say on behalf of everybody here that doesn't even know him and his family, you know, we definitely send our condolences and hope his family gets through it.
Yeah, thanks, guy. And everything you heard was true. He's a great guy. Yeah. Dave, have a good holiday. Say hi to all the guys, and we'll talk.
Tell Les Thatcher I said hello.
I will do that.
All right, man.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
See you later, man. Dave Penzer from the XWF. Again, if you want to find out more about that organization, go to xwfwrestling.com. All the details available right there on the internet. We're going to take a break. When we come back, maybe a couple more phone calls and a whole lot more here on the Wrestling Guys on the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
PFB.
Back here on the Wrestling Guys, want to thank Dave Penzer from the XWF for joining us again. xwfwrestling.com is the website, and they have, again, a number of shows coming up not too far away. If you don't mind driving a few hours, 4 or 5 hours, they have some shows that aren't too far away. Their dates include coming up, hold on one second here, coming up December the 28th is their first show. It's going to be over in Hammond, Indiana, which is near Chicago. On the 29th of the year, they're going to be in Milwaukee. And then on the 30th, they're in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Then they take a week off. They come back on January 4th in Port Huron, Michigan. January the 5th, they're in Toledo. That's going to be at the Seagate Arena. And on January the 6th, they're in Battle Creek, Michigan. And all tickets for all of those events are available through Ticketmaster. But again, you get to see guys like the Road Warriors and Buff Bagwell. Rick Steiner is going to be on those shows in January. Roddy Piper, Rena Marrow's with this group. So, again, a lot of talent that you haven't seen for some time. And I think it's vitally important for the future of the wrestling industry for a second promotion to emerge on the national level. And hopefully this will be the one that does it. Some good guys working on this group. Mike Lemus handling their live events. He's a good guy as well. and hopefully not only will they succeed, but hopefully they get around here very soon so we don't have to drive 4 or 5 hours to see them. We're going to take another break. When we come back, more on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB.
5:38 for your Friday, mostly sunny. High near 44 right now. It's 39. Join host Jim Raposa with Frank and Friends, stories and the music of Frank Sinatra, Sundays 4 to 6 on AM 910 WPFB. And now back to Wrestling Guys on the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
Back here on the Wrestling Guys, AM 910 WPFB. I'm Shawn Stidham. About a minute ago, again, want to thank Dave Penzer from the XWF for joining us. Want to mention a couple of things also. Don't forget tomorrow's Dayton Daily News. 2 articles, one on the HWA, one on OCW. Very good articles, both for a good cause. Check those articles out in the Dayton Daily News. Also, this Saturday, the Heartland Wrestling Association show on Fox 45 at midnight will be a tribute show to Russ Haas. You definitely want to check that one out. Don't forget the latest wrestling news available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 937-285-0991. We call that the Wrestling Guys Hotline. Updated, again, every day and as needed based on the latest wrestling stories. And, of course, with this being our last show before the holidays, we want to wish you a very happy, a very safe Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Have a good, have a safe holiday. Enjoy it with your family. I'm going to do that, and we'll be back here again next Wednesday right here on AM 910 WPFB. And don't forget, Tuesday mornings at 7:20 a.m. on our sister station, 105.9 The Rebel. You can catch the Rebel Ringside Report for all of the latest news right there. Again, the World Wrestling Federation announcing they're going to be touring internationally in 2002. Hulk Hogan will be appearing on Unscripted on ESPN tomorrow. That is going to be at 5 o'clock. And we are done for another week. So, again, Dave Penzer, thank you very much. Appreciate the time. And until next time, I'm Shawn Stidham. This is the Wrestling Guys, and you're listening to the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
The following program is scheduled for 1 hour. Making their way into the studio, the tag team champions of Talk Radio, the Wrestling Guys.
Good evening, a terrific Wednesday to you. My name is Shawn Stidham. Welcome to the first Wrestling Guys broadcast of 2002. Hopefully you had a safe and happy new year. Got a busy program for you tonight. A little bit later on, we're going to talk to Chris Hero from the IWA Mid-South. They've got a show coming up this weekend in Dayton. Also, the voting is over. The polling is over for the Wrestling Guys 2001 Listener Awards. And over the last couple of weeks, we have taken your nominations for Wrestler of the Year, for Tag Team of the Year, for the Match of the Year, and for the Local Area Wrestler of the Year. We will be announcing those a little bit later on in the program as well. Plus, my longtime co-host, Willie F., tonight is his final show, and as he was getting ready to come down here, he ran into some car trouble, so he's going to join us a little bit later on. And to be honest, I have no idea what the guy's going to talk about, but he does have some comments he wants to make. And he says they're going to be a little bit very opinionated, let's put it that way. So you definitely want to tune in for that. Our toll-free number, we've already got some people on hold, 866-910-WPFB. 866-910-WPFB is the toll-free number. Let's first get you up to date on the latest news. The talk continues. Is Kevin Nash going to go to the World Wrestling Federation or not? Over the last week, I've been told by a number of people that Kevin Nash basically is a done deal. He's coming to the WWF. It's officially unofficial. In other words, everything's in place. He just hasn't signed the documentation yet. Earlier today, Kevin Nash released a statement on his website, kevinbigsexynash.com, and it reads as follows, quote, "First, I have not signed with any wrestling organization. As of Tuesday, though, I became a free agent. Second, regarding the rumor that any interviews I do now have to be cleared by the WWF, that is completely false. And where or how that rumor started, I have no idea. I have not talked to anyone from any radio station or even been approached for an interview. I am now down in Florida with my family, and no one even knows how to reach me. When I do, in fact, sign a contract, I will be the first to announce it, not someone else," end quote. Now, the speculation continues to be that Kevin Nash is going to be in the World Wrestling Federation possibly as early as this Monday, which is the big live Monday Night Raw featuring the return of Triple H from Madison Square Garden. And obviously, you know the history with Kevin Nash and the Clique and Triple H, maybe bringing back in Shawn Michaels, who's still under a WWF contract. That is a possibility. When we find out anything definite, of course, you know, we're going to let you know about that. The Hardy Boys in a little bit of hot water. They are apparently going to be taken off the television for the next 6 weeks as punishment. Now, according to Lita on her website, amydumas.net, just didn't know that is Lita's real name, Amy Dumas. Over the last few weeks, there's been a number of situations involving the Hardys. that have not been impressive to WWF management. First of all, Jeff Hardy has been late on a number of occasions. He no-showed a house show. Plus, back at the Vengeance pay-per-view, the match with Matt versus Jeff, they were told to have a high-flying, typical Hardy Boys match, and they did not do that. They wrestled more of a ground style. Well, apparently Vince McMahon has told them that he thinks they need a break, and he's going to give them some time off. Lita feels like they're being punished. Whether or not it is punishment, we'll have to wait and see. Good news concerning Superstar Billy Graham. If you've not kept up to date with the Wrestling Guys hotline, Superstar Billy Graham was in the intensive care unit at the Mayo Clinic over the weekend, suffering from advanced liver disease. He actually had 4 burst veins. Well, the good news is he's out of the intensive care unit, but he is still in dire need of a liver transplant, a liver donor. And, of course, we obviously want to send our thoughts and prayers to him at this time. Superstar Billy Graham, a former WWF champion, and right now needs all the help he can get. This one's great. This is one of those stories that just, you kind of rolls your eyes and you go, oh, boy. Combat Zone Wrestling last month brought in the Sandman for their big Cage of Death show, where the big storyline was the invasion of former ECW stars. And they had Todd Gordon, they had the Blue Meanie, they had a number of Pitbull was there, and they brought the Sandman in at the end and he announced he was joining Combat Zone Wrestling. He ripped off his ECW shirt, he had the CZW shirt on underneath, and then he went on a Sandman ramble, which was basically a drunken, incoherent statement. And anyway, so Combat Zone Wrestling has a big show coming up in a couple of weeks, and Sandman was going to be a part of this, and they have now decided to not have the Sandman on this show because he was too drunk at the last show. As I've said before, what do you think you're going to get when you book the Sandman? You know what the Sandman's gimmick is. He drinks a 6-pack on his way to the ring. He drinks a 12-pack on his way out and probably has another 2 12-packs backstage before the show. You know the Sandman's going to be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Inebriated? Whatever you pronounce it. You know what I'm trying to say. You know the Sandman's going to be a little bit liquored up before the show. So why all of a sudden are you surprised the Sandman was a little bit drunk at the show? Beyond me. Elsewhere, the XWF having their first house shows over the weekend. Mixed reviews, crowds between 1,500 and 4,000 people at each event. Considering they still do not have a television deal, that's not bad. The bad news is, on a number of the shows, people were leaving before the main event ever started. Also, the major complaint for the XWF shows were too many old guys, not enough young, up-and-coming talent. Josh Matthews, Josh from Tough Enough, and Kid Cash were said to have the best match at every show, each of the 3 shows over the weekend. Now, along with the good news comes the bad news. The shows they had scheduled for this weekend in Port Huron, Battle Creek, and Toledo have all been canceled. Not really sure why, but the good news is they did pay all of the talent. I mean, come on, less than a week away, you're not going to find a booking, more than likely. So they went ahead and paid the talent. More than likely, they would have had to anyway, based on whatever contracts they have with the talent they had booked, but still, very nice gesture. They went ahead and paid for it. So anyway, no word yet on when those shows will be scheduled. Our toll-free number, 866-910-WPFB. Let's take our first call tonight. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good, Andy. You got to get in that first slot, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, I just had a couple things to say. First off, under the weather right now. So,
Andy, you are always under the weather.
In the wintertime, I am, yes.
Yeah, summertime, springtime, fall time, you always sound, you're like Robert Gibson. You always have this, you always sound like you have a cold. Anyway, what's up?
I just want to thank everybody for making me the caller of the year this year.
Nobody made you anything.
Well, later on the night, I'm waiting on it.
I'm sure you are.
And I just want to wish everybody Happy New Year, and Shawn, want to wish you a happy birthday. Coming up here in a couple days. I know I'm the only one that remembers that.
I'm like with my birthday. I do not solicit information or props for my birthday or anything like that. I'm one of the guys who almost hates birthdays. I don't make a big deal out of it, But I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So yeah, it's you have like a memory of an elephant or something.
Oh yeah, I got a great memory.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right, caller of the year, 2001.
Well, we'll see. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Bye-bye.
Toll-free number again is 866-910-WPFB. When we come back, William's going to join us for the final time, at least the final regularly scheduled time here on the Wrestling Guys. And we're going to talk to him, plus we'll start announcing your choices for the 2001 Listener Awards, plus Chris Tira, a whole lot more coming up a little bit later on. This is the Wrestling Guys on 910 WPFB.
On the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
Back here on the Wrestling Guys, AM 910 WPFB. My name is Shawn Fittum, and joining me for the final regularly scheduled time, Willie F. on the Wrestling Guys. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Shawn. How are you? Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but it's like a